Meanwhile, economist Harry Dent is making a dire prediction about the market next year. He says 2024 is going to bring, and I'm quoting him now, the biggest crash of our lifetime. Economist John Wansky is here. What do you think of Dent's prediction?
Well, I think it's a little bit over the top. It's a daring prediction.
I hope it is.
Okay, I hope so too. I don't see any sign of that happening right now. But you know, the longer we put off this correction, eventually we have to have some sort of slowdown before a mild recession. Sort of like stop this rapid growth of consumer credit. We got to do something about those elevated prices in housing, the rents and whatnot.
Even as the Fed is reducing rates, and they say they're going to reduce it 3 times in 2024. I mean, isn't that going to forestall a recession? It might put it off even longer, but won't it forestall
I got bad news, because usually recessions appear after the Fed begins to cut rates, okay? And so I don't think the forthcoming rate cuts will necessarily stave off an economic downturn. That may be asking too much.
But when the rates come down, it becomes cheaper to borrow money. Companies can expand. Companies can use that cash in order to expand and hire more people. Isn't that the opposite of a recession?
Are they going to hire more people? Are they going to engage in more capital spending if spending overall, if corporate revenues are coming in well under expectations? That's the trick. How much longer can the U.S. consumer continue to spend at a rate that seems to well outpace the rate at which their incomes are growing? And you know, you sent me something about the retirement plans.
Well, let me tell you specifically what we're going to talk about. Gen Xers say they're going to need over 1.1 million to retire, but most only expect to have about $660,000. That's a $451,000 difference, the largest wealth gap of any generation. So how do they make up for the lost time?
Cut back on spending and increase savings. That's all they can possibly do. And I don't know, when are they going to go ahead and make that type of move? It's beyond me, but it might well be that this consumer spending spree that's been around 2022, 2023 may disappear in 2024. Let me tell you, a year ago, I looked at something like restaurant sales. They were up by nearly 10% from a year ago, final quarter of 2022. So I said to myself, well, my goodness, by the final quarter of this year, restaurant sales will be lucky to grow by 5%. Guess what? They're still growing by nearly 10%. So there was perhaps more excess cash out there lingering around because of the massive stimulus.
So final question, it all comes back to the election coming up in 2024. Is by November of 2024, by the time of the election, are we going to see a good economy? What people feel better about the economy then than they do now, or could it be worse?
I think it's going to be worse. I think this is going to be a very rough year politically. It's going to create a lot of uncertainty. I'm a corporation. I don't really know what the tax framework is going to look like. I don't know what the regulatory framework is going to look like. Are we still going to have all of these subsidies for renewable energy, for electric vehicles? Those could be gone. So I think the smart thing for managers, for corporate people to do is hold back on spending plans, hold back on staff, and get the election out of the way. And just by holding back, that's going to slow the economy down.
And I think consumers are going to have to slow down because they're running out of credit.
I would think so. And the sooner consumers pull back on spending, the milder the next recession will be. It seems as though the longer they hold off on cutting back on spending, interest rates stay higher for longer. And when that downturn comes, it's going to hurt, but perhaps not as bad as Harry Dent thinks.
Oracle, John Wansky, thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Dave.
See you. Happy holidays.
Shalom. Sirach 5 and 15. Be not ignorant in anything great or small. This relates to Fox News business channel talking about prediction for 2024 as far as economically. Scripture talks about so be not ignorant anything great or small. Proverbs 22 real quick. It's a quick video. Scripture talks about the hammered earth, how it weakened the nations. So the nations are weak, man, because the ones in power, man. Scripture talks about Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous and authority people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, people mourn. So people are mourning, economically wise, inflation, everything going up, cost of living. So people are not in a cheerful state, man. Let me see what I can find out. Do this one. He that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches, and he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want, because it's going to be taken from the rich, man. That's Proverbs 22:16. It's going to be taken from the rich because they got it from dishonest and corrupt means, so it's going to be taken by them, man. It's going to be taken from them because it's not theirs. Scripture talks about, here we go. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is a servant to the lender. So that's 22:7. So the rich rule over the poor. The earth has been given to the hands of the wicked, man. So Job 9:24. So we seeing the economical downturn as far as financially, man. Major educated economists talking about how the economy possibly will be next year, man. You know what I mean? So, perhaps a very collapse position, relating to the financial. Now, many people are going to downplay that and play like, nah, that can't happen, but look at it, inflation, financial, the transition relating to the dollar, where these nations are separating. So there's a lot of things that's going on, man. So this was just something short, real quick, relating to that report. We'll give all praise, Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shem, Rakakadash, Zayah, Wolf Shalom.